In episode 2, I introduced you to my very first real character, the one who taught me how to write. His name's Jared Rohrbach, and he's the title character in my first book, We Are Not Saints, The Priest. As I mentioned last time, the whole thrust of the story revolves around Jared, where he comes from, what kind of person he is. That's what I want to explore with you today and why I've entitled this episode, Getting to Know You. When I first encountered Jared, I knew that his passion was to become a Catholic priest. I was also acutely aware that Jared wasn't your typical priest material. In many ways, he had it all going for him. First, he was remarkably handsome, and that proved to be a very mixed blessing for him. On the one hand, handsome people tend to be treated better and given certain advantages that others aren't. However, that opened him up to the possibility of becoming arrogant and manipulative, taking advantage of situations and people. He was also very intelligent. Things that others struggled with came easily to him. Therefore, people naturally turn to him for advice and help. When people look up to you like that, it's way too easy to believe the hype. His intelligence allowed him to find solutions to problems that stumped others so that he could avoid and circumvent obstacles, even those put in his way for his own good. Next, Jared came from a wealthy family. His father was a successful businessman and had amassed a substantial fortune, so Jared was never concerned about running short of spending money. Put all these pieces together, and you have the makings of someone who could be arrogant, entitled, selfish, and manipulative, just the opposite of what you'd want in a candidate for the priesthood. Can Jared manage it? There's one more thing. Jared was unapologetically gay. He was just smart and discreet enough to fly under the radar. Still, he'd been in an exclusive relationship with a classmate since freshman year of high school. From the time they met, Paul Fortis grew and matured in Jared's orbit. Paul was chunkier than Jared. His hair started thinning early. He was of average intelligence, and he came from a solid middle-class background. He found it hard to believe that someone like Jared, who he felt outclassed him in every way, could actually love him as much as he loved Jared. But they also had a common goal. Both felt called from boyhood to become priests. Through it all, Paul was determined to be with Jared no matter what. And Jared was all too willing to do whatever was necessary to keep Paul by his side. There was also one major factor in Jared's environment that had a stifling effect on him: his stepmother, Hannah. When Jared and his twin brother Justin were very young, their mother died. From their birth, Hannah had been their nursemaid, housekeeper, and cook. When their father eventually married Hannah, the boys' lives changed dramatically. Hannah immediately stepped into their mother's role and ruled with German order and ferocity. She especially fought Jared at every turn. Though brought up Catholic, Hannah hated the Catholic Church with a passion. She not only forbade Jared from pursuing his dream of the priesthood, but she also blocked him whenever and however she could, even going behind his back. Now that you know some of Jared's story, it's easy to see scores of areas of real and potential conflict. All of these characters, and this is just the beginning, in some ways are at cross purposes with each other. Their strengths and weaknesses are in conflict, and once you have conflict, you generate tension, and where there's tension, there are stories. In fact, there are many possibilities. Which ones will Jared choose? Which ones will go wrong despite his best intentions and efforts? What crises will their character defects throw them into? That's what I'll be sharing with you in a future episode. Now, a word about our next couple of episodes. Next time, in episode 4, I'll take a break from discussing my characters and how they formed the foundation for my stories and turn my attention to research. It's that research that gives stories their grounding in reality. I'm going to talk about how I approached my research, what tools I used. I'll let you know what worked and what didn't. Then in episode 5, I'm going to share some of the actual research I used to develop the story arc for We Are Not Saints the Priest. Because episode 5 will reveal major plot points from the priest, I'm making it exclusive to Substack subscribers. That way casual listeners won't accidentally spoil the book for themselves. If you've not yet subscribed, now's your chance so that you won't miss out. It's free. If you haven't read the book yet and are interested, you can find it on Amazon or get a signed copy from my bookstore at hlesbrown.com. If you don't want to find out the ending of the story, you can just skip episode 5 for now and go straight to episode 6 when it comes out. And there I'll be talking about locales and settings. So be sure to subscribe to my Substack where you'll find all my podcasts, plus coming soon, a sneak peek at my latest novel, Sycamore Boy.